Well, afternoon, everybody in the VHR. Cyan here. Going to go ahead and do a quick run over through this week's weekly raids and whatnot. First and foremost, I want to go ahead and start with 1313 normal. Hallelujah. We've hit it. We're at our first goal as far as the levels that I want us to get us to. We've accomplished getting through all of normal now as a team. I want to point out to a number of areas that we've improved in. We've brought in a number of new personnel that have been working out quite well. They've been putting in the time to improve, and I hope as a team and as players that they will continue to improve on that on a consistent basis. That way we can continuously take the strength of our team as a core and keep on moving it up. I also want to take the time to thank the leaders. Their effort to just step up and put out more effort time and time again for the team as a whole was something that we really needed to grow on. In an area I felt that the leadership really needed to grow in is the direction and the challenge that I presented to them, and they took that and we've been marching forward with it, and I hope that that success will continue. I want to, again, as to the team as a whole, I want to thank everybody's effort. I look at it like this. Everyone that participated in the moment that happened right there in that event involving getting that kill, for example, and the kills behind it, it's earned by everybody, period. Everyone that's put in an ounce of effort at some point or another has helped with accomplishing that moment, okay? Now that the fireworks are over, right? Pew, right? We're good. Time to move forward into another area. Now, what I have here is a direct recording of my in-game. I messed with my UI and I worked with a couple of different user interfaces so that way I could present a cleaner look overall for when I'm rating. So the elements that I want to start with first and foremost is that with now heroic being our main focus, standards are going to have to wrench up just a little bit. We're going to have to make sure that we're hitting our 75% attendance rate per week. We're going to make sure that we need to be hitting our signups. Another couple other elements that'll be addressed in the note when it's sent out that I'd like you to not only read, but review, for example, by clicking on the link that's available in the document through the website message that I'm going to be sending out, that you reread the standards so that you know what's going on for heroic. Now, what are some elements that you could directly improve in if you're not already doing it? Well, key binding's one. So I recommended, I was in the past using Bartender, but now I'm using Dominoes. And this is what Dominoes looks like when you click on it and you bring everything up. So everything is very, very clean, and like it all kind of moves together. Like if I wanted to move encounters, I'm good. But if you put the two of them next to each other like that, and then I click that, they become one in their own. So it gives you, a really strong ability to be able to put everything, loot rolls. You can make things invisible. You can make the bars go horizontal, and it's really, really simple to use in Aspect. I also wanted to get a clean cast bar, and I might make mine a little bit larger once I figure out where my rain frames are going to be. But I needed to get something where I was visualizing countdowns over and over and over of what was going through. And key binding for it is super, super easy too. You come over to it and you enter, shift and left click, and what that's going to do is it's going to make every single one of them, and you can make it character specific if you want to. I kind of go with a general frame so that I'm always doing the same thing. So my approach for it, for example, is like stuff that I'm going to do instantly with heals, or for example my taunt is here when I'm tanking, and then my main, this is one that I picked up from Gore, so namaste Gore, thank you so much for the insight. What you see here is my most actively used keys. So when like I show you on your logs, Cass, and the information is presented to you, like what are you using the most, and where can I put them in a constructive area so that way I'm constantly not having to move my hand excessively and be able to go for maximum pushes, as far as pushes per minute, for example, your BPM. That way you're able to create as much response as possible to being able to get your output and cast levels on a consistent basis. And it's very simple to do it. Basically, you hover over it, and then what you want to do is hit whatever button that you want. And so, for example, this one here highlights 1. You can see that on the screen, and that means my shock, my holy shock, is going to be under 1, for example. And then also with my Naga Razor, right, I've got the same 1 through 4 highlighted up in here. So that way I'm mostly using, for example, 1 and 2 because that's all Paladin does. It's very sad. As a healer. So what it does though is it makes it so that way if I need a quick response, it's another way for me to be able to send it out. Next element that I wanted to go ahead and point out from this display is a mandatory add-on that we're adding from this day forward, and we're going to start working with on a consistent basis, is ExoRsus Raid Tools. Okay, that's EXORSUS, then Raid Tools. Now you're like, well, what is that, right? I'm going to click it on. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick run through with it just so you can kind of get an idea of the type of elements that it has presence. Now, with up here in the damage and the healing, this is SCADA, so I wanted to make sure that I had a good clean area through here where I'm able to see, for example, what I want. Now, initially the tools are basically a suite of add-ons that all came together to allow a raid leader and a raid team to be able to not only communicate but also create notes, and also to be aware, for example, of issues that might be pervasive, like a lack of using potions on a consistent basis, not bringing runes on progressive kills, for example, which at this time I'm pretty sure most everyone has Exalted with Hand of Prophet. So you've got the continuously used rune, the empowered augmented rune here. So, you know, if you haven't though, work towards it, and please start using runes on progressive bosses, which is Zul'Harrak forward at this point, heroic. Okay. What we see here is raid cooldowns. Now you set this up here, and that's what this whole box in the lower left hand corner is, and that's going to allow me to be able to see. I'm tracking the ones that are really viable that you'd want to talk about. I worked with Scooby-Doo for a while. He's an officer in Triaria and used to assist raid lead, and this is how they approach it. They look at the ones that are help the team as a whole and then go from there as far as work. You know what, I need to activate Spirit Link, right? Gotta have that there. And so yeah, you just keep reviewing it, make sure you have it. It also has the rings tied into it too, so that's really nice. And so when we get into a raid, I'm going to get this big box here. Basically, it's going to have everybody's stuff in it. And it's going to let me know who's got what. I might get rid of the names and whatnot because I really don't need to know, specifically, because I'll know. I'll be like, if I need to be like, hey, so-and-so, Trank, hey, so-and-so, Totem, hey, so-and-so, Leah to me, Devo, so those are pretty evident, but, the other stuff like combat reses and things like that are pretty strong. It has the legendary ring tied into it now also. And then anytime, like what we want to see is Gore consistently using it, or whoever the main DPS is that's main assist, right? So that we have our focus target main assist macros working specifically on specific burns when they need to occur as quickly as possible, right? It'll show what type of ring it is, and it'll give a raid warning every time that it's done. So like when Gore uses it, it's going to say Gore used it, and that's going to be broadcasted to everybody. So make sure that you're working on that 2-minute rotation of that cooldown being present as possible, and also those moments where you need to set up your attack specifically, like say Zul'Harrak at 20%, we're going to go crazy, right? Because hero and all that other stuff. So you got to make sure you're rotating your cooldowns in so you can burn down those ads and then go and start knocking Zul'Harrak down as much as possible. As an example, right? It gives a trackable battle res. The image will appear in here basically, and it'll show me that there's one available with a timer, which is great. It does a comprehensive fight log. I have it enabled. I'm actually going to keep that off for now, but I'm going to start using that in the future once I do a couple LFRs with it to see how it tracks and whatnot, and see if it's applicable, because I run live logs on my computer at the same time on my other monitor. So that's a strength for us. Raid inspect. This is an element that the leaders are going to start using on a consistent basis, and I want other raid members to also do. Like when I call out for a global raid inspect, I want everybody to just start looking at everybody's stuff and make sure they're good. As far as like their talents, other info. For example, you click on it and it gives a real simple display. As far as where they're at and all their items. You just scroll over and see how my helm pops up. You go to neck, you see that it's enchanted. So, the elements are there, and you could scan each piece. You could be like, do they have the right gem in? Do they have the right enchants going on? Things like that. And it's very clean, very quick. The note. Now, okay, the note is right here. And what the note's going to do is that since we're all using the raid tool function, it's going to put us into a position where, like, if I type something in here like we'll use Iron Reaver as an example during a pound attack, right? So what you would do is you go here, click on one, and then you type in something like, we'll do Alec, or Sills. We'll do Sills, right? Sills. Sills is going to do Trank on first land, or on first pound, right? And then now that I've got it in there, everybody who has a note will see it. So there's a visual reminder of on first pound, and we could clean up the text and make it really streamlined, just like, when we say it, be like, Trank now, we preset. It'll be a visual to be able to assist us with making sure that we get everything organized. This is considered like one of the strongest tools for Mythic by most of the GMs and raid leaders that I've spoken to. Like, being able to have a visual of like where you're going to go, or who, like, what group is doing what, or what person is doing what, is huge. Like, it's astronomical huge. So I can't wait to start applying it on a consistent basis. I'm also now running this rate check function where if you don't have 125 food, it's going to tell you to get 125 food. It's going to let everybody know you don't have it. Same for your flask. It's going to also give you a warning at 10 minutes left on the flask to get another flask going. Yeah, 10 minutes is fine because that's going to be basically a pull on most encounters with a kill. It's going to track also rune use, and it's going to track buffs also. And then at the end of each go round, it's going to tell me how many people use potions, so that way we can get quicker to being able to be like, hey, make sure you're using 2 potions. We got a couple people here who didn't do it. All right, so we need to improve on that consistently because who doesn't want 1,000 more of their primary stat? It's literally like a 2%, 3% increase into your total damage threshold just by doing it properly with cooldowns and whatnot, as a majority of the videos that I've done at this point have highlighted, right? So it's got marks, bars, timers. It covers bonus loot, raid loot, etc. It ties in with boss mods too, so that way you can do stuff like that. And eventually, like, it gives statistics, for example, like of all the players and who they've killed and how much, etc. And then hours too, hours, right? It's not even that word. The arrow is set up too where we can actually create image using imagery, a layout, for example, of the stage with a JPEG, and then put positioning on it. This is something Gore spoke about when we were in BRF, and he was suggesting that we use it at that point. So shots out again to Gore. It's going to be really strong when we have to start getting to specific spots. Like if you look at check out, for example, Method when they got their kill on Archimon as far as the posted video, like the final 20% when they're inside the secondary realm and they're bouncing from point to point as a team, they designed that movement and the arrow helps do it. You basically would follow that person and everybody would follow their arrow and go to where it's at. It's really amazing. And that's it. So, like, yeah, those are the 2 that we're going to be working on. This is my weak aurors right here. Like I said, here's the note, etc. Cast bar. So, got a clean cast bar now. And this down here, oh, this is the big one too. This is really cool. This is a countdown timer based on DPS threshold into whatever target that, we're focusing on. So, like, if as a tank, I'd be on Zul'Harrak, you would see Zul'Harrak, and I'd be able to call out, be like 3 minutes till kill, 2 minutes till kill. So you'll be able to really focus on when you can start putting your like cooldowns together in conjunction with rings and things like that. Again, great job on 1313 normal. Let's get 1313 heroic now, goal number 2, right? Then we can start working on Mythic, which is goal number 3, if not clear, okay? If you have any questions, please hit me up as soon as possible. If there's anything that you need to address, let me know. Again, 705, new rating item level, so if anybody in guild asks or anybody that's a friend wants to participate, this is just where we have to go for heroics. And then from there, it's going to be based on attendance and also overall execution. So we got to make sure everybody, we're doing the best we can. Remember, we're always here to help. If there's anything you need, please just ask, so that way we can put ourselves in a position to be as successful as possible. Again, I want to say, go VHR. Great job. We've done it again. Let's keep on pushing, all right?